let's talk about this idea of success. Everybody's level of success is different. For some people, it's about the size of the house that they live in, or the kind of car that they drive, or how many followers they have in social media, or how much money they have in the bank. Maybe it's how many kids they have, or what their personal relationships are like. But everybody's level of success and achieving that success is going to be different. And when you take a look at the things that we hear about, and I'm sure you're familiar with the prescribed method of success, which is get an education, get a job, be hardworking, motivated, have good integrity, persevere, don't quit, have a good attitude, give it 100%, all of these things. Well, we all know people that have done every one of those things on that list. They've read every book, they've been to every seminar, they've jumped, they've stood, they've sat, they've smiled, they've clapped their hands, they've high-fived. They've done all of those things and have still not achieved the level of success that they expected or were promised. And what's the answer? Why is that? That is the missing piece to the formula. And I don't want to profess to be able to share with you what that is, because I don't know if anybody has the answer to that. But I can tell you one thing, and it's a piece that most people don't take into consideration. When we look at that list, perseverance and hard work and attitude and motivation and determination, all of those things are things that you control. They're things we as people control. They're inside of us. So I can determine my attitude, I can determine how hardworking I am, I can determine how much money I want to invest, I can determine who I want to listen to. All of those things are things that I control. But the reality is that there are things that happen in all of our lives that are outside of our control. That's what we call outside influences. And an outside influence comes in many forms. It could be a macro influence, maybe something someone in the government does, or someone in your work does, where you'll walk into work one day and you get fired for no reason. You weren't expecting it and it just happened. The company is laying people off. That's an influence beyond your control. Sometimes you'll be on your way to somewhere and someone will pull out in front of you, and it's more of a micro influence, or something someone in your family does or says that affects what you do or how you do it. The main difference from my years and years of experience in business and in my personal life is how we handle those outside influences ultimately determine whether or not we're successful. So not that we want to not count all those other things. They're really important. So yes, we need to be hardworking. Yes, we need to be motivated. Yes, we need to be determined. All of those things are really important. But at the end of the day, there are things that are going to happen around us that we need to be conscious of. And there's always people who will say, how come all these things happen to me? They don't just happen to you. They happen to everybody. But how you handle them will determine whether or not you're going to make it to the next level. And the more you start to recognize these outside influences come into play, the more you realize that they're everywhere. That's why when I hear people say, well, just follow this and just copy this and just put this into a system. But if it was the case, everybody would achieve that level of success. And it just doesn't happen that way. And I think part of the frustration that I have is when I watch these videos and I watch the tutorials and I hear people speak and I go to different events, is the fact that they make it so unrealistic. And people become jaded. They say, well, I've followed this, I've done that, and I still haven't achieved it. So therefore, there must be something wrong with the system. The system works, it's just incomplete.